In my session, I presented joint work with my co-author, Brad Peterson, a practicing lawyer, that had a very simple finding. We looked at contracts between large integrated product manufacturers like John Deere and Harley-Davidson and their suppliers of component parts. And what we found was that the provisions in these contracts closely tracked the 18 management practices that the World Management Survey had associated with explaining 30% of the persistent performance differences among firms. In other words, we found that the techniques of intra-firm hierarchy that the World Management Survey found to be effective were all used in contracts across firms, producing a convergence of practices. I then unpacked what this might mean for the theory of the firm, since in essence it gives buyers the ability to quasi-integrate with their suppliers if they choose to do so. In addition, taken together, these provisions create a framework for governing contracts that has the virtue of promoting commercial cooperation, sustaining commercial cooperation, strengthening the force of network governance, and promoting the emergence of process-based trust and, in its wake, interpersonal and interorganizational trust. The lecture also emphasized that economists and others need to move away from thinking that they can understand the meaning of a contract between two parties by looking at the terms of the contract. We suggest this can't be done unless scholars also take into account the network of connections in the relevant market in which the parties operate and the internal hierarchy and intra-firm networks of both of the contracting parties. We suggest that much of the literature in law and economics doesn't match the world as we know it, precisely because these factors are left out of scholarship. So my hope in presenting this particular lecture was to draw scholars of law, economics, and institutional economics into integrating insights from management into their work to help people construct and better govern contracts. I think the program run by the IOEA is extremely valuable to both young professors and to graduate students. It provides this incredible opportunity to hear from senior scholars who give cutting-edge insights from different fields. Even as a senior scholar here, I found myself coming up with new paper topics and things that I want to explore from listening to the different lectures that were given for the benefit of the students. And it was a real pleasure to be able to sit down with graduate students from around the world and hear what they're working on. What they find interesting. What they find interesting is completely different from the things that I find interesting. And it's so nice to see the sorts of topics that are motivating people. It will make me a better supervisor when I go back home. I really wish my graduate students had been able to come this year. They would have gotten a tremendous amount out of it. I'm convinced that they would have found co-authors for their projects that would have made the projects much better than they'll be if they are done alone, and that they would have found themselves with a sort of ready-made entree into a network of scholars who could make their work better. Both peer scholars, people who are a few years senior to them, and then finally people who are really at the top of their field. And that's what really makes this week here unique. Everybody talks together, criticizes one another's work, engages with one another's work, and also talks very informally and openly about the challenge they face in the work and the challenges that are present for anyone trying to enter the academy today. And I think the workshops and insights on that subject, even standing alone, would make it worthwhile coming. But together with the full academic content, make it a sort of no-miss thing for a graduate student or a young scholar.